quick turnaround in Championship fixtures is well and truly back. We've got my Championship predictions going ahead into game week 12. If you are a Championship fan, then do hit subscribe on this channel. We do this series every week where we predict what's going to be happening in the Championship. Do drop a like as well if you do go on to enjoy the video. And as I say, if you support any team in the Championship, this is the place to be for daily Championship content. So do hit that subscribe button and let's jump straight into things. So let's start off with the Friday night game where we have got ourselves Preston North End up against Sheffield United. Where Sheffield United, I mean, it's been a huge upturn in form. We did expect it at some point, maybe a little bit later than what we were expecting, but back-to-back wins for Sheffield United. And now they're actually out of the bottom three for the first time, literally, this season. So obviously they got smashed first game of the season, and they've never been able to recover from there up until this moment right here, where they got a big 3-1 win against Blackburn. A nice goal in there from Harrison Burrows, Tyrese Campbell getting a goal as well. And a big result for Sheffield United, who would look now potentially right up the table at this point. 9 points off the playoffs. They're not a million miles away. And things change so quickly in the Championship. All of a sudden, another win, if they can get a win this weekend, then they're looking at a really decent position. They'll be looking definitely up the table if they can get themselves another result. For Preston now, it's actually back-to-back defeats. Birmingham City lost to, and they also lost to West Brom as well. Nothing too much to panic about. It's still been a really good start to the season overall. Do we expect Preston to be in amongst the players? We definitely didn't at the start of the season. The way they've played have definitely shown why they can potentially, be in the mix for the playoffs come the end of the season. I think there's going to be a lot of teams with their eye on that. So I say back-to-back defeats. It's not too much to be alarmed of, in my opinion, if you are a Preston North End fan. But I do think Sheffield United, they've got that kind of momentum right now. I actually am going to go for a 1-0 to Sheffield United. By the way, Callum O'Hare was fantastic for Sheffield United in their last match as well. Right, on to the next match, the early kickoffs in Saturday. We've got Coventry City versus Watford. Of course, Watford getting their first win under Javi Gracia, a really big 2-1 win, a really nice goal in there as well from Loser in the 2-1 win against West Brom. And up against the Coventry City side, who again, I mean, they just keep storming on, they just keep rolling on with another win against Portsmouth this time, a 2-1 win. It's always difficult going away to Fratton Park, and again Coventry were much the better side. Thomas Asante, unbelievable performance from him, getting himself another 2 goals just to add to however many goals he's got so far this season. Portsmouth getting a late goal at the end, but again Coventry well-deserved winners, and Coventry continue their unbelievable start to the season. I mean, just look at that, 31 goals, 8 conceded. I can only see a Coventry City winning this game, and I'm going to go for a Coventry City 3, Watford 1. I feel like Coventry right now, I mean, the way they're playing is just absolutely ridiculous. Going forward, they're electric, and I do expect that to continue. Right, on to Ipswich Town versus West Brom, where, of course, West Brom did lose that match 2-1. As a Price getting himself another goal, but 2 goals from Loser and then Rocker Batter as well for Watford. But another goal for Price has been fantastic so far this season for West Brom. But a disappointing defeat against Watford. They would have hoped they could have got at least something from that game. But Ipswich Town, oh my word, what happened against Charlton? I mean, in the first half, they were much the better side. They should have had a goal. But Charlton, it felt like every time they went forward, I mean, they created 5 big chances, Charlton did. And I mean, 3 goals for Charlton, and a well-deserved win, you have to say. Of course, you're going to ride your luck. You're going away to a team that's meant to be at the top of the league, and a team that's got a lot of money spent on it. You're expecting it to be a very difficult game and to concede chances, which Ipswich did. I mean, 31 shots, 5 big chances. Ipswich, no doubt, should have had a goal. Akpom hit the bar. They had a couple of other chances. I think Jack Clark had a chance. They had quite a few chances. Ipswich, they should have at least put one of them away, especially in the first half. And then you're looking at a completely different game. But if you don't take your chances, you're going to get punished. And with a team like Charlton, it's a Nathan Jones masterclass. 3 goals in the space of 12 minutes. Ipswich absolutely crumbled in that match. Absolutely nowhere near good enough. But do I think they're going to bounce back against West Brom? I've surely got to expect an Ipswich bounce back here. I am going to go for an Ipswich win. I'm going to go for an Ipswich 2-1 win in this match. I think it'll be a tough game, but I think Ipswich will be able to get themselves through. The final early kickoff, Portsmouth versus Stoke City, where both teams have come off the back of a loss. Stoke 2-0 to Millwall. Stoke have been really good overall so far this season. A disappointing defeat in that game against Millwall. Weren't really at the races at all in the match. And I mean, Millwall have been really decent recently. I mean, I watched them against QPR for the full 90 and they were pretty impressive in that game. They've had a few good results in a row now. Kramer's been decent at the back. And Aziz has been really good as well on the wing, one of the better wingers in the Championship so far this season. So a really good result for Millwall in that game up against Stoke. And as I say, for Stoke, they're still sat 6th in the table. It's still been a really positive start. Only 1 win in the last 5, which isn't ideal. Up against Portsmouth, who I think Portsmouth have a really decent team. I think Yang has been really impressive in recent weeks. And they've got themselves a nice team, and Dazell's improved massively since leaving QPR, to be fair. He's been decent in the side as well. They've got some decent players in that side, Pompey, and they're well-drilled side under John Mousinho. So I think this will be a difficult game for Stoke. I'm actually going to go for a draw in this match. I'm going to go for the first draw of the weekend. We're going for a 1-1 in that match. And now we're on to Blackburn Rovers versus Southampton, where two teams that, I mean, the managers have got to be under serious pressure at this point, both coming off the back of a 3-1 defeat. I mean, we'll start at Blackburn, where, of course, they took the lead, but again, it was nowhere near good enough. Absolutely fell apart in the game again to concede 3 in the second half against a team that's down at the bottom of the league with you. I know Sheffield United have a lot of quality, but it's been nowhere near good enough so far this season for Blackburn. Just the 2 wins so far, 7 points. You really do feel like with the situation with the ownership, it's just so stale at Blackburn. You have got to feel sorry for the fans under that ownership. Ishmael, I'm not sure is the right man for the job going forward, to be honest. I mean, it's always a difficult job with the situation that Blackburn are in, but there's no doubt that he's underperforming right now in terms of results, especially. And then for Southampton, another team that's definitely got to be under pressure. I mean, Southampton, they had an unbelievable chance. I'm not sure it was. I mean, they absolutely should have scored scored a few more in that game against Bristol City, to be honest. But Bristol City absolutely punished. I mean, you got the likes of Mehmeti, Scott Twine. I mean, it was a game full of chips. I'm pretty sure there was 3 chips in this game. I mean, McCarthy, 999 ping for one of the goals. Absolute disaster. And Scott Twine's a clinical finisher when he gets given the opportunity. A very good technical player. Adam Armstrong, a really nice goal from him. But again, it's more the same from Southampton. They create quite a few decent chances, but then they just don't put them away, and then they're too easy to break down defensively because he's too many sloppy, easy goals. And as I say, it's a 3-1 win to Bristol City, and Bristol City have been really impressive so far this season. Southampton, I mean, if things aren't going their way, and as well as that poor defensive mistakes, it's only going to end one way if you're not going to take your chances and you're going to make mistakes in that defensive line. And will still, time you feel like is running out with Southampton being sat in 18th position. It's been absolutely tragic so far. But I do feel like Southampton will be able to get themselves a result in this game. I am going to go for a 2-1 Southampton win in that game. Now we're on to Bristol City versus Birmingham. Bristol City are a team that I really like. Them, that attack with especially Mehmeti and Scott Twine this season have been just ridiculous. When they're firing, they are a serious team, and they're one that is very difficult to stop when they're in that kind of form. Birmingham, I mean, they did kind of ride their luck in the game against Preston. Preston definitely had a few decent chances and probably should have put the ball in the back of the net. But a real big win for Birmingham. Newman getting himself the goal. Why he hasn't played every game this season for me, I have no idea. I think the best centre-back partnership is that Clara and Newman partnership, which was really impressive. And James Beadle in goal, I think, had a decent game, to be fair, as well for Birmingham in that match as well. So a really big result for Birmingham. They needed that away from home against Preston. Now they're going away against Bristol City. I feel like Bristol can get some goals in this game. I feel like they can get... I mean, it's a decent centre-back partnership with Newman and Clara, in my opinion, but I do think Bristol City, with that attacking talent, I actually am going to go for a 2-0 Bristol City in this game with, as I say, the likes of Mehmeti and Scott Twine. When they're firing, if they are firing, they're going to be very, very difficult to stop. Right, on to the next game, Derby County versus Queen's Park Rangers, where, I mean, Derby getting themselves a big result in the last game. There's no denying that in that game against Norwich. An absolutely huge win for Derby in a game where it could have gone either way, you feel like, in terms of chances. Ozil getting himself a goal in 55 minutes. I mean, I think Adjiman got the assist there. It was an unbelievable work for him. He looks to be such a handful up top for Derby County, he does. Zetterstrom with a good performance in goal. I mean, Norwich hit the post towards the end of the match as well. I think it was Cernak who hit the post, who came off the bench and hit the post in the match as well. Norwich had chances. It was two poor teams. It's two teams that absolutely needed the result. It didn't matter about the performance in that game against Norwich. And for us, we got ourselves a 1-0 win against Swansea. Honestly, we played much better for the first 34 minutes until the red card happened. Say what you want about Steve Cook. I think it's fantastic from him. I think that is. I mean, he ended up getting him sent off. I mean, you can't... People can complain about the headbutt. You can see it there, the little screenshot there. People complain about Steve Cook and say, oh, he's acting and all that. But yeah, at the end of the day, the game's the game. You know, if it happens against you, you just got to say, you know, it was silly from the Swansea player to put his head in, and smart from Steve Cook using his experience, in my opinion. I don't care what people say. about acting or whatever people have had a go at Steve Cook for. I mean, we were deserved winners in the end. Swansea had a couple of chances, especially for Potnick towards the end. Had a couple of chances where, I mean, one of them he completely missed the ball and should have put the ball in the back of the net. And then we had a few chances. Varane should have scored as well to make it 2-0. But overall, a good win. We needed that result after the loss against Millwall. Puts us level in the playoffs. Swansea, I mean, I'm seeing a few question marks over Sheehan. I'm not sure. I still think it's early days. But yeah, you can see why some fans are complaining and why some fans aren't happy with Sheehan. And you feel like, I don't know, I feel like with him obviously coming in as an interim manager, and he did decent obviously at the back end of the season, I feel like there's definitely an expiry date where you think that kind of runs out, that kind of look, or not really look, but I think the steam kind of runs out, and I feel like that might end up happening for Sheehan. And I think at some point this season, I do think he'll end up going, in my personal opinion. Right. Oh, I've not even predicted a score for that, actually. I was too busy talking about the previous results. Right. I'm actually going to back us. I mean, I've seen Derby County's performances overall this season. I've just not really been too impressed. And I've been impressed with QPR's performances overall this season. So I am going to go for a 2-1 QPR. Right. Hull City versus Charlton Athletic. I mean, Charlton, unbelievable Charlton are, to be honest. I mean, some of the results they're bagging are crazy. To be sat in 5th, everyone talking about Wrexham, everyone talking about Birmingham, they're in the bottom half, and Charlton, the team that have been so impressive this season defensively, have been really good. And I mean, the forwards aren't exactly scoring a load of goals for them, but they're getting goals contributed from the back, and as well that carry 4 goals now from midfield, who put in a really good performance, and an overall really good away performance, perfect away performance from Charlton against Ipswich in that match. And then you got Hull City, who again, I mean, the relegated teams in the Premier League have been struggling massively. Hull definitely, I mean, Leicester had a couple of chances that they maybe should have scored. Ramsey got himself a goal to bring them back into it. But going forward, Miller scoring a really good goal on the 6th minute, and Gelhardt as well. He's been such a good addition into that Hull City side since he signed in January. I mean, is he signed permanently now? Or is he on loan again? I don't even know. He's on loan again. He's on loan again from Leeds. I mean, he's a player that's definitely going to end up... I mean, I feel like he is going to end up in the Championship for somebody. I mean, if it's not Hull City, he could end up at a top Championship side because he's a real player. Whenever I've seen Gelhardt, he always brings good energy, good at running with the ball, and as well as that, he's been chipping in with goal contributions as well this season. And a really good performance overall from Hull City. Another assist from Ryan Giles has been fantastic to see his kind of resurgence as well in form this season for Hull. And a real good result as well. So 2 teams that come off the back of fantastic results, and 2 teams that are definitely surprising a lot of people in the Championship when you look at where they are so far this season. So I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I actually am going to go for a 1-1 draw. Hull do concede a few goals. Charlton are decent defensively. Hull are good going forward, very good going forward, and have been this season. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 in that game. Now on to Middlesbrough versus Wrexham, where this is a game I feel like could potentially be a really good and a really interesting watch. Both come off the back of 1-0 wins. Middlesbrough against Sheffield Wednesday. Morgan Whittaker getting himself another goal. Back-to-back games, you know. Of course, comes out London buses. You don't get anything for ages, and then you go and get 2 in one go. And for Wrexham, finally getting themselves that first home win in the game against Oxford. Broadhead getting himself a goal in that match as well. So 2 teams come off the back of a good result. I feel like Middlesbrough are going to continue this positive start to the season they've made. I mean, look at that record so far. It's been unbelievable from them. Wrexham, it's going to be difficult going away to Borough. I actually am going to go for a... I feel like Wrexham will be able to get themselves a goal because they are decent, but I feel like Middlesbrough... I'm going to go for a 1-0 Middlesbrough. I'm going to go for a narrow Middlesbrough win in that one. Now we're on to Millwall versus Leicester, where, honestly, Leicester, I'm just not being convinced. Performances weren't great, and I was thinking at some point it's going to pick up at some point. It's just never really happened. I watched them in the second half against Portsmouth. They got outplayed in the second half. 2-1 loss then to Hull. I mean, what is it? 1 win in the last, God knows. I mean, there's 5 there. I feel like it's a couple more draws they got before that. I mean, it's not been good enough for Leicester City. And I mean, pressure's on Marty Cifuentes. I mean, not to the point where he's going to get sacked, but I think performances have definitely got to increase. I mean, they're so reliant on Fatawi to just pull something out of the bag. I think they're so badly missing a striker. Obviously, Jamie Vardy is always going to be a difficult place to fill, but I mean, they've not very... I mean, no one's really impressed in that forward, whoever has played there, if it's Daka, if it's somebody else, that other geezer they signed in the summer. It's just not really worked out in terms of that. Millwall, I mean, Aziz has been fantastic so far this season. Ivanovic got his first goal of the game as well against QPR. Defensively, they've looked a little bit better in recent weeks as well, and things are starting to improve for Millwall. If you look at their recent results, 3 wins in a row, battered by Cov, 3 wins in a row, looking better defensively again. Millwall coming into it in some really good form up against his Leicester side, which are really struggling right now. So I think Millwall are going to make it really difficult for Leicester. I feel like I'm going for a lot of 2-1s this week, but we're going to go for a 2-1 to Millwall. Now, this is an opportunity for both sides right here. Sheffield Wednesday and Oxford. I feel like for Sheffield Wednesday, this is the kind of game at home. They need to be getting a result in this game. Of course, they're still on, 6 points so far this season. They need to get themselves a win in this game. They need a result. If you're picking a result, picking a team that you want to play, it probably would be a team at Oxford, a team down at the bottom of the table at home with an opportunity for a win. Sheffield Wednesday need to get a result in this game. Oxford need to keep picking up points. They've got a few positive results before this, obviously a draw against QPR and a win against Derby. Still not been good enough overall. 1-0 loss against Wrexham isn't ideal. I feel like Wednesday, obviously they had the boycott. I don't know how many fans are going to turn up. I don't exactly know. I've not looked into it and see who's going to be turning up, how many fans are going to be turning up to that Middlesbrough game. I'm going to actually back Wednesday. I'm going to go bold and I'm going to back Wednesday for a 1-0 win. The biggest myth, to be fair, Wednesday is they're playing a bunch of youth players and they're an easy win because they're not. They've actually, that team pretty experienced that they started in the last match overall. And it's not an absolutely shocking team. It's just when you get to the bench and that. But I think Wednesday are going to have to try and get something. If they're going to have any chance, which I don't have any chance, but if they're going to keep this alive for as long as possible, they need to be getting a result in a game like this, in my opinion. Now we're on to the final game. There's no games on a Sunday or no late kickoffs or anything like that. That's disappointing. Swansea City versus Norwich City, where... Has Liam Manning even gone? What on earth is going on here? You've had Shane Duffy having to go at the fans who didn't even start the match, having beef with the fans over on Twitter. It could have gone either way. It was a close game against Derby, but it's just two poor teams, realistically. Josh Sargent continues to struggle in front of goal since his unbelievable start to the season. I don't think Swansea looked too bad against QPR, to be honest. Obviously they played with 10 men. I think they put in they fought hard and they definitely could have nicked something at the end of the game. It wasn't a bad performance. They've got some good players, Swansea have. I just feel like they're going to get another result. I feel like this is the time. If Liam Manning hasn't gone before this, I feel like he's going to be gone after this. I'm actually going to go for I don't want to go for a 2-1, so I'm changing. I'm going 3-2. We're going to go 3-2. We're going to go with some goals in that game, even though Swansea, if Swansea had a lot of goals in their games, I don't think they even have this season. I think they've been pretty... the games haven't too many goals. 10 goals scored, 11 conceded. We're going for an entertaining one. And we'll calculate the table to finish that off, where we have Cov leading the way 28, Middlesbrough 27, Millwall 23 in third. Playoffs then, Bristol City, QPR and Charlton Athletic. With the bottom three, we have Sheffield Wednesday up to 22nd. That looks a little bit crazy. Norwich in 23rd and Blackburn rock bottom in 24th. So let me know, the league is still so close and it's so difficult to predict, as always. Championship is always the most unpredictable and it's just so good this season with everybody... with the relegated Premier League teams all struggling, it is kind of good to see, to be honest. And the division is just crazy this season. It's such an entertaining watch. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, do drop a like down below. Subscribe as well if you are new around here. If you're a Championship fan, and please do hit that subscribe button. We do daily content. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.